Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So today for the demo, just because we're doing thermocoagulation and it's so precise, I will have to move the camera during the demo to make sure you're seeing well. So I start with that plan just so I can explain what I will do on my model. I can explain the device as well. Then when we will move into the demo part, I will hand up the cell phone to my model so we can really zoom in and you can really see well what we're doing today. Today we're doing thermocoagulation treatment on my model. Thermocoagulation is a treatment done by radiofrequency wave to coagulate the different anomalies. And that matter of fact, on my model today, I will work on vascular, so precapillaries on her cheeks that need to be coagulated. That's what we will work on her today. So I have prepped her skin prior to the demo to save a little bit of time there. So I've cleaned it, removed the makeup. I keep her eye makeup on as I'm not working on her eyes area. I'm really working on her cheeks, so making sure everything is ready to go. We're working with the Eclipsia, which is the device on the background here, which is the 27 megahertz device. It is a medically registered to Health Canada, so that makes sure it's to make make different application treatments. So telangiectasia, ruby, angioma, Campbell spot. We also can work on texture anomaly with the molluscum, with the milia, with the keratosis, as well as on pigment spot, acne. We can also reduce the size of osteum to do a osteum reduction. Careful with that. This is not for your seborrheic skin type because those ostia are open because they need to be open, really important. So really interesting, it's to close an ostia where you have couple one that are bigger than the other on the face, as well as the one that because of the lacking and sagging of the skin that become more open, then on those we can work without problem. So that's for our Eclipsia. So that's the opening menu. Also now in the Eclipsia device, you do have the option to have thermocoagulation treatment as well as electroablation treatment. So you have the option to have the electroablation to our Eclipsia device. So the fact that it's on the 27.12 megahertz, when we're speaking about frequency, it's the speed of the heat dispersion in the tissue. So the fact that we're working with 27.12 megahertz, we're really concentrate in the point that we're working. We don't have spreading of the heat dispersion. It's really local, really concentrate to create the coagulation really fast and make it really comfortable for your client. So that's for the preset. So I'm choosing what I'm working on. As right now I'm working on telangiectasia, but if I'm moving to ruby, to angioma, you see really well on the corner here that the little screen is changing. So I will go with telangiectasia for me. I'm pressing OK. Then I'm coming to the selection screen. So I can decide if I'm working on a female or a male. Right now I'm working on her, not on her body, but on her face. So that's what I will select. Then you have a scale from 0 to 9 according to the size of the anomaly you're working on. Today I'm on medium size anomaly, so I will go at 5. Then we have the preset that are selected. I can also come here to choose on the probe I'm working on. If I'm working with inox or insulated probe, so I'm working with inox, I will go with the size 6 as I have a medium average telangiectasia to treat here. And that will give me the preset for today's treatment. You can also select the probe holder I'm using. Right now I'm connected on my probe holder 8, and that's what it's telling me, so it's perfect. I can also, if I want to change the preset to slow or fast thermolysis. So I can select to switch it up, and I can select the synchro option. The synchro option is available and patented by Dectro. So only on our Eclipsia for the thermocoagulation that you can get the synchro option. The synchro, it's a combination of pulse time on and time off, creating a pattern for the coagulation to have a relaxation time, giving a spreading of the heat on a different level. So that can be really interesting in certain treatment. I will go back to my teleflash as it's my fast thermolysis, and that's what I will use on my model today. Thermocoagulation treatment have multiple applications, as I already said. Really interesting to actually work on different anomaly. Don't worry when we do so. We're doing a full training with the Eclipsia. Now the theory is online, so you can do all the learning theoretical part online at home, and then we do 1 day of practical, or depending on the settings where you start and everything. So that really give you the full access to the knowledge. We generally use the not insulated probe. In fact, they are thermo insulated, which is more than half of the probe that are not insulated to allow the electricity to pass through. So those are specially made probe for thermocoagulation treatment. They are also more sharp, where electroporation probe are more rounded. Those for thermocoagulation are more sharp to really help to create the coagulation point on the right spot. So that will be the difference. So you cannot use your insulated electroporation probe to work with thermo, and you cannot use your stainless steel probe to work that are made for electroporation for thermocoagulation. You really need a specialized probe for thermo that will guarantee you the best result possible. We also have one probe that are insulated, which is a size 2 that is specially made for the patented synchro modality, because it's the time of relaxation time we got in the synchro, we have to work with a specialized probe. So we do have thermo insulated size 2 probe. The tip is still sharp as same as your thermal, but it's insulated. So that's for the probe. So I will start the demo. I will end up the camera to my model so we can be really close. As the precapillary are so small in her skin, we really need to be close to have the best view possible. We will make it the best for you to see. Here we go. So I'm getting ready with my parameter as we preset it already. What I will do now, it's to do a small pressure on my client's skin, just like that. And that will help me to see the blood flow on her capillaries. Okay, so that was really fast, I know. Here we are. So it goes down for those two, which will be the one that I will be doing. It goes down. So what I'm doing, I'm just going a little bit over, doing a good pressure and doing my coagulation. So you can see slight whitening part on the little capillary we're working on. As you can see, it's a really fast treatment. We just need to have the right amount of pressure. Here we go. So that capillary is completely gone. What we see instead is a little bit of whitening. I'm trying to give you the best light possible for you to see. Then I will move on to a second one. So as sensation for the client, you have a tiny bit of heat, really slight sensation. We are more in sensation, no pain. You have no need of numbing cream. In fact, using numbing cream on thermocoagulation treatment is not recommended because it will activate the blood circulation where you try to coagulate. Of course, you do have some contraindication to thermocoagulation treatment. You don't want your client to take any blood thinner. You need to be careful with all medication, cortisone consumption, Accutane, to make sure anything that will increase the blood flow to really be on the lower part. Also, making sure that you get the problem under cover. So having broken capillary is something quite normal, but you have to find why your client have it. So is it because they're eating spicy food, drinking alcohol, taking medication, doing a lot of sun tanning? So usually we have something that will create this for us. And until you get the point out of it, yes, you can treat the capillary and you will have less and less, but it will at some point come back. Here we go. I'm usually doing one and then passing one capillary when we have a couple like her today. So I do one, I pass one, I do another one, then I skip one, just to make sure I do not overeat the tissue. It can create a slight cross right where I'm gone. So we have to ask the client to do not exfoliate for the weeks following. They need to let the little scab, if they are present, fall by itself. That's really important. They have to protect themselves from the sun, because if they don't, those little lines will be replaced by hyperpigmentation spot, which is clearly not what we want. Also, they have to be careful with hot water, hot shower, spicy food consumption, stuff that can activate the blood circulation for this next 48 to 72 hours. Also, be careful that your client don't go to the gym right after treatment. No heavy lifting. There we go. So we can see that the treatment is really fast. Already we see that the redness are gone. It's replaced by a little bit of whitening, a little bit of edema on the first couple one I have done, which is normal reaction. Really not so much sensation for the client, no more eating the tissue. I'm following the treatment with our Hydra Plus, which is actually got a product, which is a aloe vera balm that will help to the client to recover, keeping the heat out. And I will follow by the BioMe sun protection or the Ombre Creme protection cream. One or the other is good to make sure that the client don't get any sun exposure during the day. If you have a little Amelia, we go in, we creating a little bit of heat, and then we're doing the extraction. It will really slide out just like butter. That will really be helpful because those are really impacted and difficult to extract sometimes. So it is a good treatment for that as well. So for the skin, when you have capillary, you won't have any more capillaries. It will look even. When you're working on pigmentation spot, the pigment will be gone. For the molluscum, same thing. That will be really beneficial because usually they happen where we have friction around the neck, under arms, sometimes around the bra strap. So sometimes it can be uncomfortable when we're speaking about skin tags. So to get them removed, really interesting, without pain, without scarring. So that will be really beneficial for the skin to have those imperfections taken out, which is really interesting. Most of the time, one treatment on what you have worked, they're gone forever, okay? But I explained myself when I said, depending on the treatment, if we're speaking about pigmentation spot, it may take up to 3, depending how deep in the tissue the pigment is. So that sometimes will take a little bit more time. When we're speaking about cuprosis or a lot of telangiectasia on one spot, then of course, what I have worked on my model today, it's gone. I don't have to touch the same blood pre-capillaries, but if the client keep drinking alcohol, keep going to the sun, keep doing a lot of cold and hot in her face, do a shower, lift heavy, like whatever it's causing those broken capillary can come back. That won't be the same, but I can have the same condition and have to treat the condition again. So that will be really depend. It can work anywhere on the skin. When we're speaking about hyperpigmentation, we really want like solar pigmentation, like those round marks that are left by the sun. That of course, for sun mark, depending where you are, you have to check with your province or your state's rules and regulation. For us in Quebec City, we do need doctor approval to work on them to make sure they are not melanoma. When we get the doctor approval for the hyperpigmentation, then it's really easy to go there, work with the heat to fragment the pigment and have a good result. Eclipsia, it's registered to Health Canada, especially for the coagulation and the removal. So you need a medically approved device to do those kind of treatments. So know your electrolysis machine cannot do the coagulation with the proper certification. I will apply the Ombre Crème Protection Cream. The zinc oxide have an anti-inflammatory effect, which is really interesting after a treatment like we did with Eclipsia, where the client have a little bit of redness. So that can be really interesting for after treatment. It have a little bit of tint in there. It is totally normal. It have no main purpose of doing camouflage or like what a BB cream will do. The tint, the light tint in there is just to help, because the zinc oxide is so white that it is really difficult to apply and having a nice blending effect. With the Ombre Crème, because of the light tint in there, it is really interesting. We have to warm it up before we applying it. The reason is that zinc oxide, it's like a paste, so we have to warm it up before you apply it to the skin. Then when it's done, you just come and dab it in to just drop it on the skin. And here we are. So really easy to apply. And then I can apply it all over her face, not just on the spot I have worked, to make her even, of course. That's for our Ombre Cream. So thank you very much, everyone.